Hey there, welcome to the North Florida Veteran Real Estate Podcast. I'm Darian's avatar, the voice he sends out when he's juggling everything else, researching deals, pulling a hospital shift as an RN, or watching his girls spar it out in karate class. Right now, he's probably out on the golf course trying to convince himself that that looks cool in those new shorts. But I digress. Okay, here it is. Orders just dropped. For most people, that envelope or email is a starting gun for a marathon of stress. You've got a move out date, a pack out date, and a reporting date. But before you let the panic set in, I want you to stop and look at those orders differently. We aren't just moving your household goods. We are looking at a way to turn that transfer into profit instead of panic. This is the moment where you decide if you are going to be a passive traveler in your military career or if you are going to be the commanding officer of your own financial future. Most people see a move as a chore. I want you to see it as a business opportunity that could change your life. The biggest mistake veterans make during a PCS is playing defense. You wait until you arrive in North Florida, sit in a hotel for 3 weeks, and then scramble to find whatever house is available. You end up overpaying or renting a place that doesn't build your net worth. If you choose base housing, your basic allowance for housing is simply gone every month. It is a line item on your LES that you never see because it goes straight to the housing office. By the time you settle in, you've missed the chance to let that money work for you. The wait and see approach is a wealth killer. You are essentially giving away your biggest financial advantage just because you are worried about a little bit of paperwork. Think about it logically. That BAH is a benefit you earned through your service. When you give it to base housing, you are handing your hard-earned benefit back to a private corporation that manages those units. You get a place to sleep, sure, but you get zero growth. You get zero tax breaks. You get zero equity. You are essentially paying off someone else's mortgage while yours sits empty. When you report for duty at NAS Jax or Mayport, you want to be walking into a situation that sets your family up for the next 10 years, not just the next 10 months. This is about building a foundation that lasts long after you hang up the uniform. In today's market, especially in high-demand areas like Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine, the best deals don't wait for you to land. If you wait until you report for duty to start looking, you are already behind the curve. You need to understand the power of your VA loan benefits before you even pack a box. You can actually secure a primary residence before you arrive. This isn't about being reckless. It's about using the tools available to military members. We use high-quality video tours, floor plans, and local inspections to ensure the home is solid. By the time you pull into town with your family, you aren't looking for a home. You're pulling into your driveway. You are already ahead of everyone else who is still stuck in a hotel room. This strategy requires a shift in mindset. You have to trust the process and the data. We look at the school ratings, the crime maps, and the commute times during peak traffic hours. We do the legwork so that you can make an informed decision from across the country. Every month you spend in base housing is a month where your BAH is essentially invisible. You're paying for a roof, but you aren't building an asset. When you choose to buy a home before you report, you take control of that money. You decide where it goes. You decide how much equity you want to build. If your BAH is $2,200 and you use it to pay a mortgage in a growing North Florida neighborhood, you are essentially getting the government to help you buy a house. Instead of your BAH disappearing, it hits your bank account and goes toward your own equity. Now let's talk about where you should look to maximize those dollars. One of the best ways to keep your monthly costs down while building massive equity is looking at new construction. In North Florida, builders like D.R. Horton are constantly opening up new communities. One of the biggest perks of these new builds is the affordability. People often worry about high homeowners association fees, but in many of these new communities, the fees are incredibly low. For example, some D.R. Horton communities have HOA fees as low as $10 a month or less than $100 a year. That is almost unheard of for a clean, safe, and well-maintained neighborhood. When your fixed costs are that low, more of your BAH goes directly into your pocket or toward paying down your mortgage principal. New construction also gives you a huge safety net. When you buy a brand new house, you aren't just getting a home, you are getting peace of mind. Every new build comes with a builder's warranty. This usually covers everything from the structural integrity of the home to the plumbing and electrical systems for the first year or more. But here's the professional tip. What happens after that builder's warranty expires? This is where the real experts protect themselves. You want to transition into a private home warranty. Darian often uses American Home Shield for his properties. Now, this isn't an endorsement or a paid ad, but it's a great example of how you manage risk. For less than $75 a month, you can have a policy that covers your major systems. If the AC unit, which is the most important appliance in Florida, decides to quit, you pay a small service call fee, usually around $100, and they handle the rest. This keeps you from ever having to face a $5,000 surprise repair bill. We want you to stop being a tenant of the military and start being an owner of your future. Every mortgage payment you make is like putting money into a forced savings account. Part of that payment goes toward the principal. That means every single month you own a little bit more of that dirt and those four walls. In base housing, after 3 years, you own nothing. In your own home, after 3 years, you might have $30,000 or $50,000 in equity waiting for you. That is real money that you can use for your next move or your retirement. We aren't just buying a house for you to live in for 3 years. We are buying an investment. Before you sign anything, we look at the rental market in that specific zip code. Is this home near the gates? Is it close to shopping? We look for homes that other sailors and soldiers will want to rent from you when you get your next set of orders. This is how you build a real estate portfolio. You buy it, live in it while you're stationed here, and then turn it into a rental property when you leave. You report for duty, but your house stays behind and works for you. You are creating a passive income stream that will continue to grow long after you have moved on to your next assignment. Imagine doing this at every duty station. By the time you hit your 20-year mark and retire, you could have 4 or 5 houses being paid off by other people's BAH. That is the ultimate retirement plan. It provides a level of freedom that a pension alone cannot offer. It gives you options. If you want to stay in Florida, you have a home. If you want to move elsewhere, you have an income stream. You are no longer dependent on a single paycheck. Let's be real. Buying a home from 3 states away is scary. There is a risk that the neighborhood doesn't feel right or the backyard is smaller than it looked on a screen. That is why you don't do this alone. You need a team that knows the military side of real estate. A deal isn't a deal if the roof is shot or the commute to the gate is 45 minutes of bumper-to-bumper traffic. We vet the property so you don't have to guess. We look at the things you can't see on a shiny website. We look at the age of the AC unit. We look at the condition of the roof. We look at the neighborhood vibes. We represent your interests because we know what it's like to move a family across the country on a tight military timeline. This is about mission readiness for your family. When you have your housing situation locked in before the movers even arrive at your current house, you can breathe. Let's address one of the most common fears for landlords. What happens if the AC goes out while a tenant is living there? In Florida, that is a major issue. If the unit breaks on a Friday and the part won't be in until Tuesday, your tenant is stuck in a hothouse. As a landlord, you have to be prepared. But here's the reality check. If you require your tenants to have tenant insurance, which you should always do, many of those policies cover loss of use. If the home becomes uninhabitable because the AC is out during a record heat wave, the tenant's own insurance can often cover the cost of a hotel for those few days. This protects the tenant and it protects you. It keeps everyone calm while the repair is being made. You use your home warranty to fix the unit for $100, and the tenant uses their insurance to stay cool. That is how you run a professional real estate business without the stress. Most veterans think the VA loan is just about no money down, but the real secret is the ability to use it repeatedly and the fact that it is a non-conforming loan with flexible debt-to-income ratios. When you are securing a home before you officially report, you are locking in a 0% down payment. This preserves your cash. You're going to need that cash for the move, for new curtains, or for those unexpected expenses that always happen during a PCS. Don't tie up your life savings in a down payment when the government is willing to back your word. You are using the system to your advantage. The VA loan is the single greatest wealth building tool for the American veteran. It allows you to enter the market with zero skin in the game. That means your return on investment is technically infinite because you didn't put any of your own capital down to start. You are leveraging your service to build a legacy. When you buy before you report, you are essentially skipping the line. You aren't competing with the hundreds of other families who show up in June and July looking for a place to live. You are already settled. You have already won the first battle of your new assignment. One of the hardest parts of military life is feeling like a transient. When you buy before you report, you get to skip the homeless phase of a PCS where you are living out of suitcases in a hotel. You can get your kids enrolled in schools early. You can find your grocery store and your gym before your first formation. This stability makes you a better leader and a better family member. In North Florida, community is everything. Whether you are looking at the quiet suburbs of Clay County or the beach life in Duval, getting settled early allows you to focus on your new command instead of worrying about where your family is sleeping. Think about the stress level of your spouse and your children. A PCS is hard on them too. Pulling up to a house that you already own, where the keys are waiting and the boxes can be dropped immediately, changes the entire energy of the move. It turns a chaotic event into a homecoming. You are giving your family roots in a world that is constantly moving. You are creating a sanctuary for them. This emotional security is just as important as the financial side. A happy home front leads to a more focused service member. You are taking care of your troops at home so you can take care of your mission at work. Let's talk about what happens 3 years from now. You get orders again because you bought right, meaning you bought in an area with high military demand. You now have an asset. Instead of selling and paying high commissions, you put it on the rental market because Florida is a growth state and military populations are stable. You can often rent the home for more than your mortgage payment. Now you're moving to your next base with a monthly check coming in from North Florida. This is how veterans build wealth. It's not magic, it's a strategy. You are building a machine that produces money while you sleep. You become the landlord. You become the one providing high-quality housing to the next generation of service members. And while you are at your next command, your property in Jacksonville is appreciating in value. The market in Florida has historically been strong because people always want to move here. You are sitting on a gold mine if you play your cards right. You are letting time and the market do the heavy lifting for you while you continue to serve your country. This is the difference between working for your money and having your money work for you. You are building a portfolio that will sustain you long after you leave the military. The market is competitive, and you have to be smart. You might not get the first house you bid on. You might have to look at 5 or 6 properties via video before we find the one. But the alternative is far worse. The alternative is arriving here and being forced to take whatever is left over or being stuck in base housing where you never see your BAH. Don't let the ticking clock of your reporting date force you into a bad financial decision. Start the process 90 days out. Give yourself the time to find the right property at the right price. If you wait until the last minute, you lose your leverage. When you have time on your side, you can negotiate. You can ask for seller concessions to cover your closing costs. You can make sure the inspections are thorough and that every repair is handled before you sign. We want you to walk into this deal with your eyes wide open and your wallet protected. We want you to be the success story that other veterans talk about. We want you to be the one who looked at a PCS and saw an opportunity instead of a problem. There are risks, of course. Real estate is never a 100% guarantee. Markets can shift. Maintenance happens. AC units break in the middle of a Florida July. But when you compare that to the 100% guarantee of losing your BAH every month in base housing, the choice is clear. In base housing, you are guaranteed to have zero equity. In your own home, you have the opportunity for massive growth. We choose the opportunity every single time. We choose the path that leads to financial independence and personal freedom. To recap the mission, first, don't wait until you arrive. Use technology and a trusted local team to shop early. Second, put your BAH to work for you immediately instead of losing it to base housing where it builds zero equity. Third, Choose a home that will make a great rental later by looking at proximity to the bases and local amenities. Now, use the VA loan to keep your cash in your pocket for the move and for your family's needs. Remember, focus on the long-term goal of building a real estate portfolio, one duty station at a time. Here's a must. Trust the data and the professionals who understand the unique needs of military families. Seventh, take action early to ensure you have the best options available to you. Also, remember that your service has earned you these benefits, so use them to their full extent. Next, stay focused on the big picture and don't let short-term stress get in the way of long-term wealth. Finally, be the leader of your family's financial future. Be sure to like, subscribe, or download this episode so you don't miss the next step in your home ownership journey. We are here to provide the intelligence you need to make the best tactical decisions for your family and your finances. We are your partners in this mission. If you want help mapping out your personal strategy for owning property in North Florida, connect with us and let's talk through your options. As always, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. The Florida Veterans Real Estate Podcast is brought to you by Exit Inspired Real Estate. All information is for educational purposes. Consult a professional before making financial decisions. Equal housing opportunity.